Solomon. Michael Solomon is former NYPD special investigator and a former intelligence officer with the U.S. State Department. So, Mr. Solomon, let's start about what the investigators on the ground they're looking for in terms of collecting physical evidence, gun shells, etc. You tell me, what are they looking for right now?
Well, good morning, Arthel. First of all, my prayers and my heart goes out to the families and these victims. It's an amazing, horrific act. But what they're doing right now is they're gathering any evidence they can. It's inconceivable to believe that one person with one AR-15 can do this, but it can happen. And they're going around and they're looking for everything. They're going to try to trace anything they can to indicate it. Most probably this morning is they're looking for all the empty ammunition and the shells casings that are lying around to see possibly what his path of action was when he came into the premise. That's probably what's happening right off. But the first and foremost thing that the police department does is they want to take care of the victims and get them secure and get them out of here and get them to medical help. First thing. That's the first thing that has to be done. But we have to look at what the cause of all this violence is down the road, and until we identify it, until we call it what it is, whether it's radical terrorism or homegrown terrorism, it's terrorism in a sense, and that's it. I mean, I listened to other reports this morning on other mainstream media networks. They don't even want to use the word terrorism. They're saying the T word. I says, God, I says, that's a contraction. That's like saying don't instead of do not. It's terrorism. Let's call it what it is.
And Peter Doocy just reported, Mr. Solomon, that Senator Bill Nelson had contact with the Congressional Intelligence Committee staff saying that this Omar Mateen had radical Islamic terror connections. So with that information on the table, also knowing that Mateen was on the FBI's radar, not once but twice, many people are asking how and why. How does a guy who is trained as a trained security officer with a statewide firearms license, Category G, as Anita Vogel just told us, which gives him far more leeway with that gun in terms of carrying it and where he can carry it. How does this man slip into a nightclub at 2 o'clock in the morning and snuff out 50 lives?
Political correctness triumphs once again. You know, there are questions you can't ask of potential employees. You can't ask questions about people's medical records, whether they're in a psychotic ward or not, or whether they've been mentally unstable. I mean, that's the problem today. We've got to get back and stop being politically correct. We have to learn to treat people as what they are. If they're radicalized and they're on a watch list. You know, in the 50s, we picked up communists just because they claimed they were communists, and we questioned them, we held them. We couldn't do that. In the 30s, they were picking up Nazis under the FDR administration. But no, we can't do that today because it's politically incorrect. We have to get back to it. I mean, all of this political correct stuff didn't really occur until after 9/11, when CARE came in and suddenly they're demanding politically correct prayer rooms and footbeds in colleges and prayer rooms in airports. We've got to learn to start looking at things differently.
Sure, and sir, your point is well taken, very well understood. I do want to find out, if I could, before I let you go, if you could give us an idea of how this investigation is going to move forward. We do know, it has been reported, that there are some ties to terror, as radical Islamic terrorism. So what happens now? We know that he was born in New York. He's a U.S. citizen. His parents are from Afghanistan. He has a wife from Uzbekistan. This man's 29 years old, Omar Mateen. He's born in 1986, so at some point this year he's going to turn 30. So, how will we find out, or how will investigators go about finding out if there are connections, not just here in the country, perhaps in another country as well, to this Mateen person?
Well, they're going to have to investigate everything from his social media accounts all the way through. They can go back and look at the internet, and they can go back and find the IP addresses and see where they've originated from and where any messages he may have sent out or received are coming from, and try to interpret those and just try to find if there are ties there. It's no different than taking a DNA sample at a murder scene and trying to bring it back to find somebody. We can do it electronically today. And social media has been the vehicle that they've been using all these years. And it's amazing. And now we want to give now Congress has got a bill in front of it to turn over the internet to the control of the United Nations. What's that going to do to it down the road? What kind of investigative tools are we going to have when the UN controls it and we can't get in to get certain information?
Michael Solomon, go ahead, finish your thought, sir.
No, that's all right. I just wanted to say that, you know, we've got to really realize what's going down here. And this is, realize that we're at war. And, you know, it may not be a war with an army in a uniform, but we are at war. And the war has been declared in the United States and anybody who's not a Muslim. And that's coming right out of the Koran. I encourage people to read it, see what's going on.
War has been declared on the United States. That is from Michael Solomon, former NYPD special investigator, former intelligence officer to the U.S. State Department. Mr. Solomon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ethel. Have a great day.